Well, thank you, Craig. You make me feel way better than I feel on a normal day, so thank you. I'm super excited to talk to you guys, mainly because like I look up to a lot of you guys, and I'm just like, wow, I get to speak to you guys. Like normally I'm on YouTube, like searching your names, but anyways, that's beside the point. So one thing that I've seen in my business, like in the last 3-ish months, is recruiting coaches, and it's all been from my social media. And I started with absolutely 0 followers, and a year and a half in, I think I have 34,000 followers, mainly organic. And it's been because of the way that I market myself, not as a Beachbody coach. And I don't want to say that like I don't love Beachbody, because I would literally fight somebody for Beachbody. But it just really comes down to like, how are you going to portray that message, and how are you going to show people that you're an influencer over just another Beachbody coach? And that's something that I've really worked on, and I work on with my team. And so at the beginning of the year, I was recruiting around 15-ish coaches a month, which is still a good number. And I was like really excited about that. And I was like, okay, this is really working, like whatever. And then now I'm recruiting 60 to 65 coaches a month. And so there's been a huge increase in that. And that's because of the things I'm doing on social media. And that's also the things that I show my team to do on social media, and the kind of expectations that I just implement with them right away, right out of the get-go. So to recruit those high numbers, what I've done is I've taken away the idea that I'm just going to be posting about like my workouts, and I'm not going to just be posting about what I have to offer them, rather than what my lifestyle looks like and how their lifestyle can change, because not only the products we use, but also the solution that we offer. And so a huge part of that is Beachbody had a life for me, my corporate job, like a year into it. And one of the biggest things is like my ability to go to my kitchen and eat an apple in the middle of the day, rather than having to ask my boss to like go for lunch or whatever it may be. Like those little things, I believe that those are the small things that we need to tell stories about, and those are like the small things that you have to really make like big and bold, like those little things in life. Like one thing that I've talked about recently is getting my hair done in the middle of the day. I used to rush in LA traffic to get my hair done. And I know it sounds so ridiculous, but it was awful. And I would have to ask my boss to like leave work early. And so just portraying that message on social media of our ability to just live our life rather than just be at the confines of somebody else's schedule is something that I really, really think is influential on social media. And that message is so much more important than necessarily showing every single day of your workout, because you can do that in your stories and stuff. And so people are seeing that part of my life quite often now. And you guys are probably like, well, how do I tell my new coaches that? And what I tell my new coaches is portray how you want your life to look in 5-10 years. And so when I first started, I used to take selfies in my office, and I would say, this is not my life. Like, this is not where I'm going to be sitting forever, but this is where I'm currently, but I'm doing A, B, and C on the back end so I can get to wherever I want to go. So you're really creating that message. You're really creating that influence. You're really creating that vision for your followers and your audience. And then when you capitalize on the idea of quitting your full-time job or moving or whatever it may be, then people are like, oh my goodness, this solution really works. And so that's been a really big part of like my recruiting process. And so if I put up like a call to action, people are like, well, what have you just done for the last 4 months? Like, what is going on? So people are getting into these information sessions. People are asking me, I get asked probably, I know you guys are going to be like, Mandie, be quiet. No, you don't. And honestly, probably 10 to 15 times a day what I do, like legitimately in my inbox, like 10 to 15 times of like, how can I sign up with whatever team you have? Like, and it's been really amazing to see, but it's also been a lot of hard work, obviously. And being able to transpire that to brand new coaches is literally saying, hey, we don't need to do everything every other Beachbody coach is doing. We need to become an influencer of our own life. And what that means is like, when you sign up as a coach, I want you to go public right away. Like 48 hours, go public. And they're like, what do I say? I'm like, I don't care. Like, why did you sign up? Tell the world, like, go public. And that's one thing that really works for my newer coaches is that I don't let them get comfortable, like, ever. And I'm like, here, go figure it out. Go find your voice, go do all the things. And I'm not also a coach that like holds their hand while they do things. It's almost like I push them over until they can get up again. And I know it kind of sounds mean, but like I think that you really have to create tough skin out of the get-go, or people are like, well, why isn't this working? Why isn't this happening for me? Like, why am I not successful? I'm doing all the right things. I'm like, well, you haven't been uncomfortable yet. So I need you to be okay with being uncomfortable, and so we can get you comfortable. And something that I really heard and that flipped the switch in my business is I always watch what they do, and I don't listen what they say. So if they're going to actively do things and they're going to actively go and reach out to people, or they're showing me that they're on the team pages every week and stuff, that's when I start working with them. And I give everyone a fair shot. I'm like, hey, you guys signed up for a reason. I'm going to give you my respect. I'm going to give you my time for about 4 seconds. But if you don't prove to me that you're going to work, I can't waste my time with you, because the team has goals, other people need me. And so that's kind of been my shift in the business of how to get people started right, you know, because people really value my time at this point, because I don't give it to them. Like, it's not like a free range of here's Mandie's help line, you know, like it's like, what can I do to earn Mandie's help? And I think that when I was, because my upline is Angie Belmar, and so I always felt that way on her team. And so I wanted to recreate that kind of feeling of, it's like almost like this weird like honor to work with like the upline, you know what I mean? But there's always gonna be a time where like brand new coaches ask me questions. Of course I'll ask them, but if they ask me a question that's in the FAQ, I literally, and this is kind of like ridiculous to me, I will screenshot the FAQ in the search bar and show them a screenshot of how they can be resourceful, instead of saying here's how you use this, here's how you utilize it. And
we
so
never do that in this mastermind group. That's never been done before.
the FAQ.
We screenshot FAQs in there all
To
the
you
time.
guys, I'm like, wait, what?
Yeah, it's like Nikki Johnson and me were screenshotting FAQs right and left.
It's seriously,
Mandie,
it's so funny.
it's the right way to go. Let me ask you real quick though,
Yeah.
because I mean, you just went from saying, "Hey, I was doing like 10 to 15 coaches," which is, I think, I've always said, hey, if you want to be successful in the business, 10 to 20, recruits a month is more than ample. You've taken that up, 5, 6 times, it sounds like. My question to you though, how did you get more eyeballs? And this goes back to some of the, like what Holly's talking about, taking your social media to the next level. Like, I love the content tips that you're giving and the way that you're pushing your coaches to do it right out of the gate. I think that's imperative. How have you gotten, in order for you to get those numbers though, I'm assuming that it's more than just you improving your content. Like, how have you gotten new eyeballs onto your social media platform?
Yeah, sure. So I do a couple of things. Actually, I do a lot of things. I do a lot of different funnels of how to get people in there. One is my Instagram stories. I will talk about coaching I honestly talk about coaching 95% of the time, and my workouts about 5, because people, and I know this is kind of a weird thing to say, people see my results more than I don't need to talk about them all the time if they can actively see, like if I'm working my tail off to get results and they see photos and stuff, like visualizations, like people will match with, but hearing people speak, like you have to hear it a bunch of times to understand really or get interested. So I talk about the coaching opportunity all the time on my stories, and I do call to actions in my Instagram stories. And what that means is, like, if you have like the little question thing of when they can like answer a question or whatever, if I'm running an information session and I want their email, I'll be like, if you guys are interested, like drop your email in here. Like, and I get a lot of emails from that. I also, if people are even watching those stories, I'll reach out to them and be like, hey girl, like thanks for supporting me. I would love to put you in an information session. Like, are you interested? I get a lot of people from that as well. And then I do promote my posts, and I'm not gonna beat around the bush. I promote my posts.
Yeah, you don't need to beat around the bush with this group. That's like,
I mean, like that's just ridiculous. So I definitely promote my post. I don't promote, and with promoted posts, if you get, I don't know, 200 emojis or 200 emails, only about 100 of those people get into my actual information session. And before I ever kind of kick off that group, I try to get at least 250 to 300 people into that information session alone. And I will literally do anything to get those numbers, because that's like my must numbers. And I'll reach out to people. I will reach out to people that like didn't get into my last one. I'll do again that promotion post. In my promotion post, I probably get around 500 emails that are dropped underneath my actual promotion, and about 175 of those actually get into my information session right away. And then I will actively work all of the other kind of funnels. And that means like reaching out to people. That means talking about it on my story. That means going to posts that I've done before and like throwing, yes, I absolutely will. So Jen asked what my information session actually looks like. And a big, huge part of why I think that I've been able to kind of like get people to yes is because I recreate the community feel that we have in our team groups. And so that has been my biggest piece. That is like, and I have the same videos since January, and I've had total flops in information sessions, but the piece that actually like turned and flipped the switch was recreating this energy. And so one huge, huge part of that was, hey, I'm not gonna take anyone that's not engaged, like period. Like I'm not going to not speak to you, but like I'm not going to give you the opportunity to work with me if you're not going to even engage in this information session. And I like lay it out on the line right away. I'm like, this is the type of community that I want on my team. This is the type of community that I value, and this is the type of community that can change your life. So if you're not going to even give it time before a coach, I don't want to waste our time to get you signed up. And so people get really excited about that. And then all of a sudden you'll get this community in like an information session where people share their stories. People will like support each other, and people start trusting me more because I've created this atmosphere. And so it's like instilling that community type of thing. The information session is on Facebook. I've pre-recorded all my videos. I go live the first day. It's 3 days long. I go live the first day, say, hey, what's up? Like, this is how it's going to go. This is like, no, like, there's no like filter on this. Like, do whatever you want. Like, let's be real. And then in the evening, it's my story, and I tell people how I got signed up and what I've done to go full time and stuff. And then day 2, my girlfriend goes, or she has a video that's pre-recorded, and she talks about what we do as coaches, and she tells a little bit about her story as well. And then day 3 is how we make money and how to get signed up. But within that actual information session, I'm also dropping hints of transformations that's happened on my team as coaches, not as clients, but as coaches. And people are like, oh, you don't need to be super fit to get started. You don't need to be or look a certain part. And then people start dropping their transformations underneath that as well. So it's just like this huge community, and then people get excited about it. And like I said, if people are in this atmosphere that you've created, the whole level of trust like is broken through. And like when I open up registration, I don't really get questions. Like either people are ready to run and ready to go, or they just don't message me. I don't get these long drawn out like, well, what if that? I'm like, they're like, get so excited because they've already seen what it looks like. They've already seen every piece of what my community looks like. And so either they want in or they don't. Does that kind of make sense?
Yeah, I love it. You guys, any specific questions for Mandie?
How often do you run them? Like, do you do like one a week, like one call to action, and you'll put them in the info session at the end of the week?
Yes, like I run one. I'm honestly exhausted from them, but yeah, I run them, and it just kind of depends on my personal goals. Like right now, I'm trying to hit Success Club 200. I know that's a crazy goal, but I like that's my goal for this month, and so I'm running them weekly. If like I have a goal of whatever it may be, or spending more time with my coaches for the month, then I'll run like 2, maybe 3 max. But it just kind of depends on my goal. Right now for the month of August, because it's a 5-week month, then I'm going to maximize the amount of time that I use throughout.
So do you close down the group and then make a new one each time, or do you?
Yeah. Just because like there's so many people in there, and if I would do an ongoing one, it would be like thousands of people. Yeah, I think that'd be insane.
Mm-hmm.
People, yeah, that'd be crazy.
I love this, and I love your tough love too. Like I love it because you're right. If you kind of give them like, this is gonna be me before I start, like that's what you're setting that expectation for when they join you.
Yeah. Thanks.
Yeah. How do you have that? I mean, have you had to tactfully have that conversation, to go back to kind of, Nikki brought up in the beginning, like, man, how do I navigate these coaches that say they're going to do it and then don't? How have you navigated maybe some of those awkward conversations?
I'm like the most, and I don't even know if corporate would like this, but I'm the most straight up person when it comes to coaching because my business means the world to me. And so if somebody's going to like mess with it or like try to like avert my path, then I'll tell them like, girl, like you've said a lot of these things, but here's what you're really doing. Like, I'll just be straight with them. And if it's like social media, if it's conversations, if it's effort, like I've had a bunch of coaches reach out to me and be like, Mandie, like I'm doing all the things, I'm doing this. I'd be like, no, you're not. Like I see your Instagram, there's one post per week. Like that's not doing the things, and if people say that they, Chris, I'm not hardcore enough.
Not hardcore. See, Mandie grew up playing sport.
Yeah.
Like collegiate softball.
Yeah, and I played pro in Switzerland.
And pro softball, so she's used to kind of that, like, hard. But if you do it with a smile.
Yeah, but I honestly believe that if we're too soft with people, we're doing them a disservice, And so if we tell them, oh no, it's okay, like we'll do this or we'll get back up on the path, whatever, we're doing them a disservice because they think it's okay to be mediocre. If you expect just somebody being over the top, overzealous, and over the average, then they're going to be over the average.
Awesome. I love it. Any other questions? Oh, go ahead.
Looks like too. Like for that many, I've never signed that many coaches in a month. Like how do you get them started? Like do you put them in a Facebook group with like pre-training or? So, and this is like my expectation thing. And so I shared on Beachbody Champions page that I when somebody signs up, I oh my goodness, words. I throw them a PDF and it literally says, go public, choose your workout, show me. Like that's how we start. And if they haven't done that, then I don't work with them. And I know it sounds really harsh, but like if they can't at least go public and choose a workout, they're not going to work the business. And some people come around like 3 months. They're like, oh, I just went public. I'm like, cool. Like, is it time yet? Like, are we going to do it? And so that's my getting started, right? And then I throw them into my actual new coach training. And that's like in depth of like, this is like how to post on social media. These are all your resources. All I can do is lead them to the water. I can give them all the things. I can show them all the resources, but I can't actively do things. And if they have questions like what's Success Club and stuff, I'll like screenshot out. And what I really believe that is if you create resourceful coaches, then you create leaders, And so that's just kind of my getting started right. I feel like I don't have any magic. I just am kind of intense.
No, I like that. I think the principle there that I like is that, because it is, how do you keep track of all these coaches and how would you really coach them, if you're bringing in so many? But I love that very simple filter, like, hey, go do A, B, and C. Mm-hmm. And if you don't see a completion of A, B, C that's simple, then trying to give them the alphabet is useless. Whereas I think sometimes we bring out a coach and we think, I've got to give them the whole alphabet. It's like, hey, go do ABC. And it might be only 10 to 20% that actually make it through, those first 3 steps you gave. Okay, now it's more limited, really the coaches that are going to work. And the rest of them you can support and send, do more of a shotgun style with and until they show that they can do steps 1 through 3. So mm-hmm. I love kind of the filtering system there to see who's committed. We did have a question here from Becca. Are you leading, and this is a great question, do you lead monthly challenge groups with all these people then? Are you, with all these people in them, are you leading monthly challenge groups with all these people in them? That was the question.
So all the new coaches? Is that the question? Yes, I do monthly challenge groups for my clients, and I say anybody, and I'll post on my team page. Like I'm not gonna reach out to them and be like, hey, you want to get in the challenge group? But this is another thing of just I need them to actively want to get in. So I don't just invite them all. I'll post on my like originally personally sponsored, whatever you want to call it, page. I'll say I'm running a challenge group for new coaches only. If you guys have never been in one, or if you guys want to add people, drop your email below and I'll put you in it. And so if they're actively showing me that they want to be a part of it as a new coach, then absolutely, I'm going to let them in. But again, I'm not going to send out a mass email to 65 people waiting for somebody to get in there, and then there's no responses or there's no activity in the actual challenge group when I do have clients in there as well. And so that's just one of those things where I make them be engaged to get my help, you know. There's another question, is if I'm starting conversations at all, cold messaging. So what does that initiation start like? So yes, I do cold messages still. And I just create relationships. I don't ever really cold message like, hey girl, your page is awesome. You'd be a really good coach. Like I don't really do that, because if I'm gonna invite you to the coaching opportunity, I'm not gonna beat around the bush. I'm just gonna be like, hey, you wanna get in the information session? I'm not a really big small talker, but I will, if I vibe with somebody and I just think they're a rad chick, then I'm gonna like their stuff, support them, and then maybe down the line, cool, we can form a business relationship. But for me, social media is about being social. And I think if you have really, really skewed perception of your intention of, hey, I'm just going to like small talk them so then I can invite them, you know, like it's cold message, like invite, not cold message, let's small talk and then invite, you know. I don't really know how to answer that question without saying like, I just invite, period. I know, I'm feeling I'm such a jerk sometimes.
I love it.
That was an answer to the question. I think that's great. I was just curious how that process kind of evolves.
Yeah.
Sweet.
That's awesome. All right, you guys. Hey, we're out of time here, but any other last questions that you would have for Mandie, or Mandie, anything maybe that you would want to leave this group with as kind of a close to what, you know, what has brought you to your success?
Sorry, did you say ask something of me? Because I just like cut out.
Oh, did it? Okay. I just invited the group if they had any other last questions for you. And if not, Mandie, any other comments or things that you would want to put on to kind of close out, you know, your comments?
Can I ask one quick question?
Yeah.
Sorry.
One from all.
In growing, like, because this last year obviously has like been huge growth in terms of like your Instagram account, or I would assume it has. I don't know exactly where you started in terms of like actual numbers of followers, but do you find that most of that growth has come through like your promoted post and attracting people to your page that way, or are you doing like follow unfollow method? Like how have you kind of grown in that respect?
There's one post there's been a couple of posts that have been really raw in me, and that has gained a lot of followers from those posts. And then for my promotions, I think I get like 150, 220 range of followers from those. And then I do unfollow follow methods. And of course, again, I'm gonna be honest. And then, but mostly it's getting on the explore page. And as crazy as that may sound far-fetched, but it really comes down to people liking the crap out of your stuff. And I have like a booty workout video that over, I think 480 people saved. And so like that was one thing that got a lot of likes. And so it's like the idea of trying to go viral, you know?
Yeah, perfect. That's exactly like, I was like, that's exactly what I tell my coaches as well. I'm like, add value, be real. And those are the two things that are going to.
And do a really good booty workout.
Yeah, exactly. Thank you so much.
Everyone work on that. I'll work on mine. All right, you guys. Awesome group. You guys know how much I love you and I appreciate you, everything that you do for this company and for the people on your team and for one another and for me. Thank you so much. Mandie, thanks for being on and kicking it to us in the straight shooter way that we all need. We love it. Appreciate you. And yeah, we'll see you guys next week. Take care. Bye.